Okay, as promised, this is my break in case of emergency bonus video. So, those of you listening that are participating in the Smart Start group, good morning. Good morning. I know we finished over the weekend, but I wanted to really cap off the end of our workshop together by sharing this bonus video. Those of you that are watching for the Healthy CEO episodes, welcome. I'm super excited to share this with you. This is not something I would normally share or dive into. I actually reserved this type of training for my clients, the people that are part of the local studio that I work with in our 6-8 week challenges. So you guys are getting the goods today, okay? But I felt like this was really important. I am getting often a ton of questions about, staying motivated and action items. And then also, like when you're feeling really frustrated or stuck somewhere, but in your brain you're going, but I'm doing all the things, but I'm healthy, right? This is going to be your ultimate guide to check in with yourself to really see, are you doing the right things? Okay, so I am going to dive into about 9 different items that you guys can take and check off the box to see how are you doing, right? And this is like for your own self. This is not for me to check up on you to see, are you doing bad, and that kind of thing. This is for you, right? And there's no right answer. This is really just a checklist for you to go through and sort of rate yourself and then say, okay, where do I want to go? How do I want to change things, right? And what that looks like for you. Because let me just say, everybody's journey is different, right? When I talk about the Next Level Living Fit Gym and when we're on our path, like we are like snowflakes and there's no two of us that are like. So what's working for one might not work for the next one, but that's okay. We can still like reassess. We can still look into ourselves and say, am I doing all of the things that I need to in order to get to ABC goal that I set for myself, right? So this is a really good way to gauge that. Okay, so let's just dive in because I want to give you all the goods so you can start your week strong, move on, and then kill it for next month, right? Okay, so I love calling this my break in case of emergency checklist, quote unquote, right? Because this is really something that you can just go back to at any point that you're feeling stuck or frustrated, or you're feeling like you need help and you don't really know how to turn or where to look, right? There's so much out there, so much information between wellness influencers and all the different ways to achieve what it is that you're trying to get to and sort of like living a healthy and fit lifestyle, right? We've got all of this information talking to us about, exercise and types of nutrition and ways to eat and if it's macros and if it's body type and if it's your DNA and all of these kinds of things, right? But really, when it comes down to it, guys, it's super simple. We do not need to overcomplicate things. It's a matter of exercise and nutrition and finding the right path for you. But you have to start at the baseline. Like, I think we talked about this. I know I sound like a broken record in my own head when I say you have to walk before you can run, right? If you have never been consistent with one thing for long enough to see any sort of results, that's where you need to start. Just quick side soapbox moment. That is probably the biggest pet peeve that I have, that people say to me, I've tried it all and nothing's working. Well, I call bullshit on that, because if you are not doing the thing consistently long enough for a long enough time, we're talking 30 days or more, you're not going to see any results. Like, you have to pick a thing and stick to it, right? And so if you're over here doing this and you're over here doing this, and then you mix in some of this that you heard from that guy and some of this over here, you're never going to see results. You never are. You have to pick one thing and stay in your lane and stay there. I know it's boring. I know it's not quick. There is no magic pill. Okay. The consistency is where the magic happens. Okay. But you have to walk before you can run. So you need to start with the very basic steps before you can start to build on that. Okay, soapbox moment over. Okay, let's get into it. So number one, okay, what workout are you doing? Okay, how long is it? How intense is it? What do your activities look like outside of exercise? Okay. Maybe you need to recalculate your numbers, right? So I'm thinking in terms of, okay, if I decide I'm going to start counting calories in my Fitness Pal, hypothetically, right? I'm going to type in what I weigh today and I'm going to type in, I want to lose weight or whatever my goal is, right? Okay. So those are my numbers for the month. Okay. And then I've also incorporated, like, I'm doing a 30-minute workout or I'm doing an hour workout, whatever it might be, right? So number one is to assess where you are right now. Okay. And do you need to recalculate that, right? So, because after time, you're going to say to yourself, okay, things are looking different for me today. Like maybe I got a new job, right? And I'm on my feet 4 or 5 days a week versus last month when I'm not, right? Or maybe I decided, like for me, I know I do different workouts all the time. Like some are more intense than others, right? Maybe I'm adding a bike in. Maybe I decided to start walking. So you need to reassess like what has changed, right? Do you need to recalculate your numbers? When was the last time you measured yourself, weighed yourself, right? And what workout are you doing? How long is it? How intense? What do your activities look like outside of exercise? Your work life, right? Are you a mom? Are you a grandma? Are you sitting all the time? Are you standing all the time? Like, what's that look like for you? How has that changed? Okay. Okay. Number two, trust the science. So you want to eat what the numbers say, right? If it says to eat X number of calories, then meet that number. If it says to me, eat that number of macros, then eat that macro number, right? If you're following the portion containers and it's telling you to have 4 reds, 4 greens, 2 purples, whatever the number is, eat that. Trust the science. Okay. So whether it's MyFitnessPal or macros or your TD calculator or portion fix or whatever it is that you're following, it's science. It's not going to be different from program to program. The numbers are the numbers. How you lose weight, how you gain muscle, it is this exact across the board. I have books over here from bodybuilders and then old school stuff from like doing Body Beast back in like the early 2000s. It's all the same. The numbers are all the same. No matter how you look at it, no matter how many times, every which way to Sunday, the numbers are the same. Trust the science. Okay. Eat the numbers. Eat the numbers it tells you to, and recalculate that every 30 days. Okay. Especially if you're starting to make progress. Okay. Okay. Number 3 is, if you're not seeing results, it could be that you're not eating the right portions, or you're skipping out, or you're leaving out macros, right? So I can't tell you how many times I've heard, well, I skip my fruits and some carbs because I think it's too much. Eat all of the portions. Don't try to outsmart the science, right? You want to stay in balance. You do not want to underfeed yourself, because people that think that they're like, leaving out carbs and leaving out this and leaving you're underfeeding yourself. You're not getting enough, and it's going to backfire. Okay. So while you're thinking that I'm going to not eat fruits and I'm not going to eat carbs and I'm going to leave these things out, and because I think it's too much food for me, you're doing yourself a disservice, right? Your body needs a lot more than you think it does. Okay. Especially if you're a bigger person, you're going to need to eat more. Like me, for example, I'm at like 140, right? So in order to lose weight, I'm anywhere from like 1,500, 1,600 calories is a lose weight number for me. If you weigh more than that, guess what? You're eating more than that, right? You're thinking about it. Okay. So, don't try to outsmart, right? Like it was number 2 is like, trust the science. Those kind of go hand in hand. Okay. But be thinking about it, right? These are your portions. This is what you need. Eat what it says to eat. Okay. Okay. Number 4 is, how are your portion sizes, right? Are you weighing? Are you measuring? Take an honest look at what you're eating. Are you having extra chips or extra Cheez-Its? Tracking those extras, right, is going to be important. And then keeping treats to 3 times a week, right? That should be something that you're thinking about. Are your cocktail servings bigger than average, right? Because it all adds up. So really be honest with yourself, right? And I'm not there with you. I can't see what you're doing. So this is really on the honor system. And this isn't also about judgment either, right? If you're not seeing your success and you still want to have your wine, that's your call, right? I'm not saying that you can't have things. I think you just need to say, I'm frustrated, I'm stuck, and acknowledge it's because you're drinking more, right? And it's, again, no judgment. Like, you got to just be okay with that. Like, I'm not willing to give up XYZ, and that's okay with me, right? I'm not going to step on stage and be in a bikini and all that kind of stuff. If you're overall being healthy, then that's all that matters, right? I think there's also too many times where we beat ourselves up. I'm heavier than I, anticipated I'd be at this point, and I'm doing all the things right. Like, if you're actively working on yourself every single day, and you're at like you're at this weight where you're just there, I think it's okay to also just be, like, listen, I am healthy because I am active, I'm working on myself, maybe I'm eating more calories than normal, but it's in balance, right? I am getting a lot of vegetables, I am making sure I'm drinking a lot of water, right? You got to also be okay with that, right? So number 4, about the portion sizes, right? Taking an honest look at what you're eating. It all adds up. Be honest with yourself, okay? And are you tracking? Is tracking important to you, right? So remember, this is a checklist of, I'm stuck, I'm frustrated, I should be making progress, and I'm not. So that's what this is, like taking a look inside, okay? So it's not judgment, it's not bad, it's just for you to have that checks and balance, okay? Number 5, are you drinking enough water? Okay, this is crazy. People don't realize how important this is. Like, I had this argument with so many people, like, you just don't even realize how your body will not function properly if you were not drinking enough water, like your brain, all the things, right? So you should be drinking half of your body weight at least in water. If you're working out, you should be drinking more, okay? If you're dehydrated, your body won't function at the proper lessons. It's going to at the proper levels. It's going to slow down your bowel movements. It's not going to remove waste, right? You're going to be stuck. You're not going to feel good. You're certainly not going to have a lot of energy, right? So think about the water. And then also a big one people don't think about is your joints, right? So think about your joints as like sponges, right? So if you have no water in your sponge, ouch, like, I just think how much that's going to hurt, right? So it's going to lube you up. It's going to help everything flow through you. It's going to help your brain. It's going to help all the things function properly. Okay, so make sure you're drinking enough water. Number 6, sleep. Sleep. This is super overlooked too, okay? The magic happens when we recover, not when we're in the gym. It's not happening when you're busting out lots of weights, lots of volume, reps in the gym. It's not. It's happening on rest days. It's happening when you sleep. This is when your body repairs and recovers. Okay. You are going to have more cravings when you're tired. You're going to want more sugar. Your cortisol levels are going to go up. Okay. Sleep. I know it's hard to get in that sleep. You can start off small by just like looking at, okay, what time do I go to bed? What does that look like? And say, I am going to shut myself down 30 minutes before I normally do, right? Shut off the stuff, or start your bedtime routine 30 minutes. Just start small, right? In increments, right? And I think over time, you can slowly improve that, right? And making sure that you're also getting in recovery days, okay? I would say 2 to 3 times a week, you should be doing some type of flexibility, mobility, yoga type training, stretching before your workouts, right? Making sure that you're mobile, that you're flexible, right? Because if you're all bound up and tight and you're not doing the foam rolling and all the things, I know we're all guilty of that stuff, but you guys, the magic is going to take place outside of the hard work. And then honestly, you should also try to be incorporating that mobile work and the recovery work inside of the workout itself. So all the things are happening at once, right? It's kind of a time saver when you're implementing and you build your routine around all of those things, right? Okay. Number 7, are you eating from the top 1/3 of the food list? So now, generally speaking, there's like this food pyramid, right, that the FDA puts out or whoever puts that out. And there's like, the best things are at the top and then the worst things are more at the bottom, right? And then when I train and work with clients, I have a hierarchy list too. I have like eat these, less of these, even more less of, so good, better, and best. I have those lists, right? And then if you're also on the BODi platform with us, we have our food lists have our hierarchy too. So like the top third is the best of the cleanest, right? So, and again, no judgment, not saying that you can't have all the list. You should definitely eat all the things. But if you're eating at the bottom of the list all the time, that's going to do you a disservice too, right? Because those are going to be the most processed foods. So that's essentially what I'm saying is the most of the time you should be eating the top third, right? The cleanest of the clean. It's okay to also have a couple of different things throughout your week, but really examine that, right? Like, are you eating a lot of sausages? Are things fried? Are things processed in a box? Like, what is it that you're doing? Now, I will say, right, like this is the break in case of emergency checklist. This is a great guideline. But when I usually start a client, I don't throw the whole clean thing out in the beginning because I want them to get into the rhythm of just making sure they're eating enough of the right things, the portions in the right categories first. And I don't usually want someone to be so concerned about where it is on the list, right? I feel like if you were to do all the things at once, you'd go crazy and you'd be running scared. And that's why people get afraid to start any sort of healthy routine because they're like, it's too much things. Like, how can it's, dieting and exercise and all the things. And I don't want it to be that way. I'm going to baby step you in. So this is just one of those things where it's like this checklist, right? I'll give you one quick example. I was working with a woman and it was, we were several months in and she's like, gosh, I'm doing all the things and I'm eating in the right portions and I'm following and I'm checking and I'm journaling. And I'm like, okay, let's see your food list then. And maybe I can pick something out. And it turned out that she was eating every single day a really high sodium deli meat and not realizing it because it was like a lean meat, but it just was full of nitrates and full of sodium. And day after day after day, it was too much salt. It was just too much. As soon as she swapped that out with something else, we saw change again. Right. So that was really significant. And she just didn't know, right? She was not realizing the back of the package was the sodium part. She was thinking about fat. She was thinking about calories and she was thinking about it fitting into that portion. Right. And so just stuff like that, guys, right? Paying attention to those things. And it just adds up, right? It would be different if she had the deli meat like a couple times, but she was eating the same. She was just making it easy for herself because she was going to work every day. So she was just eating the same thing every day. And it's just added up, right? So it's just one of those oversights, right? Something that we don't always think about. And also going back to the sleep, number 6, we're talking about sleep. Another really good thing just came to mind for me too. There was a story of a gentleman who was following in one of our test groups for one of our programs. And he was getting about a little bit more than halfway through and was following everything to a T. And all of a sudden, he started to see weight gain. And he was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like, I'm even part of this like test group with these coaches and these trainers and experts following my every move. Like, what is happening? And when they discovered what happened, he had started a new job and he started sleeping like 1 less hour a week. And it added up to 7 hours a week. And he started to gain weight because he had stopped getting enough sleep that he needed. I thought that was such an interesting study. Like it's the science, right? Like think about what your body needs and stuff to repair. Like he was at that cusp, right? So that was really good. Okay, so we're on number 7 about eating the top thirds of the list. Number 8, okay, have patience with yourself and give it time. Okay, so sustainable loss is not going to happen quickly. This is about fueling your body for health. Okay, it is going to take time. There is no such thing as a magic pill. We're not going to wave the wand. It just does not happen. And somebody that you're seeing on social or somewhere else that's dropping weight like mad, I would question it. I would say, what is happening with that, right? With the one caveat that if you are a heavier person and you're going from doing nothing to all of a sudden starting to implement some of these changes, you might see a quick response, okay, from couch potato to starting to walk or whatever, right? But it's going to plateau. Like that's just not normal. Like when we would see those weight loss shows, The Biggest Loser, all that stuff, that was not the right way to go about things. Cutting your calories down to 1,000 or less is dangerous. You should not be exercising if you're doing that little calories. And you need to be thinking about the quality of the calories over the quantity. Like a lot of times, like the number really is negligible over the quality, like eating the full fat foods, right? Don't be afraid to eat full whole foods, right? Anything that's fat free or zero sugar or zero this, they've processed it or done something to it chemically to make it be such. Okay. That's probably not the healthiest way to go about it. Okay. So this is about fueling your body for health. It's not about a quick fix. It's not about a diet. So you need to have patience. You need to give it time. This is going to be for long term, right? Not quick flash in the pan. Okay. Number 9, I want you to trust the process and keep going. Okay, you guys, if you're watching this and you're in my Smart Start group and workshop, you have been working with me. I know some of you have been working with me or you're on the fence about working with me. Those of you that are listening to this Healthy CEO, right? I believe in all of you. Something inside of you pulled you to listen to me today, to join one of my free workshops, to be a part of my newsletter community. And I want you to see those results. And you will. I promise you will if you keep showing up for yourself. Okay. Trust the process, trust the science, trust your coach, your mentor, whoever you're working with, and keep showing up for yourself day after day after day. I promise it will all fall into place, right? It's when you do the stop, the start, the stop, the start, the stop, the start, that's going to stall you, right? Or for me, I remember in the beginning was I would do exercise and diet all week long, and in the weekends I would overdo it. And it was literally like I would lose the weight, get it back, lose the weight, gain it back. Like it was a crazy cycle to be in, all right? So this is your checklist. This is the things that you need to go through, right? Calculating your portions, eating numbers, trust the science. What does that look like? Are they balanced? Are you weighing? Are you having too many extras that week? Water, sleep, movement, like what does that look like? Okay. And if you need help, if you need guidance, you know how to find me, right? Those of you listening, you can either email me or you can send me a DM. And we can talk about it. It is free to ask me questions. It is free to dive in and chat about your goals, right? And then we find and figure out what is the best sustainable path for you and your situation and what you need, okay? It's not one size fits all. I promise you it's not cookie cutter, but I can help you to navigate that and figure that out. Okay. I think that is it. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I am always going to be here for you. Our next group enrollment for September, holy cow, September. Do I have a thing in front of me here so I can pull up my phone? What is the calendar? It has got to be holy cow, like Labor Day is happening in a week, right? Okay. So enrollment for the Next Level Living Fit Gym opens up this week. So we are going to be getting everybody assessed with their program, what that looks like. And then we will start. Our start date is always the first Monday of the month. So it will be the 4th of September. That's the first Monday of the month, but usually get everybody in place and ready just about that week before. So we got about 2 weeks in order to do that. Okay, so if you have questions or want to learn more about our community and get matched up with all the things that you need for your level, your activities, all of those things, great. Love to talk with you more. Okay, it's free to have a conversation. So excited to be here with you guys today. Thank you for listening to the Healthy CEO. Thank you for being a part of the Smart Start workshop. Looking forward to September and all the things to come. I've got some really exciting things planned as far as content in the Fit Gym, things I'm going to be sharing with you. If you are really just like, I'm not sure what to do, let me know. I've got a free Simple Fitness After 40 guide that I can send your way that has a sample strength and mobility core workout that I did in there. We've got some sample workouts. I've got what I eat in a day. We talk about some mindsets, a really awesome PDF that I created for you to help you navigate that first jump start at moment. Okay, so if you're interested in that jump start guide, that simple fitness guide to jump start your journey, let me know. I'll send that to you. And that is all I have for today. Thank you so much, and I will talk with you